Goeienaand. Good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, if you talk to most of the prominent groups in South Africa who are fighting for the minorities, and I'm talking about people like Sakelanders, I'm talking like people like USAF and other organizations, they all are now talking about the inevitability of a civil war happening. And, when you look at what's going on, especially since the start of 2019, how crime has escalated, how new tactics of looting and robbing and just generally rioting across South Africa have just taken off. It's a very, very concerning situation. And I got an email from a lady just today, and I'll just read it to you. Di wrote to me as follows. Scott, this is a white man, as you can see from the article, who was actually chased after he left his vehicle, this is a truck, and had a petrol bomb thrown directly at him. And in the reports, 60% of his body had secondary burns, and he's in critical condition now. I mean, this is the kind of violence that they perpetrate against people who are just going about doing their jobs. It is just crazy. And she goes on to say, the situation in South Africa is unthinkable in so many ways. Case in point is the vicious rape of a lady in Hankey, just outside Port Elizabeth in 2018, who has just released a statement which has been published in South Africa uncut. I have no words. Now, the things that go on when they're committing these crimes is just shocking. As I may have mentioned to you before, I don't drive anywhere, even to my local supermarket, without being armed and carry my go bag fully stocked in vehicle. My husband recently purchased a 4x4 Land Cruiser for me in the event that I should get to a roadblock, in the hope that I would have a fighting chance to get away. We don't go out at night, and even in the day, being constantly on our guard, watching everything and everyone around us. The whites are preparing to fight back, and as you know, there are many groups who are preparing for every scenario, if you get my meaning. When their retaliation begins, and it won't be long, God help this government and the thugs who perpetrate these horrendous crimes. Those who may not have yet made emergency plans and joined an organization or prepared their homes need to wake up very, very quickly. And I endorse what she says. And, there are people working in the background, dealing with organizations like the International Criminal Court, and I will be talking to one of them on Sunday. And Ria, in an email today, said to me, look, can you help promote USAC, which is basically another organization which is trying to set up a petition, which has been run by Craig Montgomery. Now, we'll actually be touching on USAC on Sunday night, and you'll find out why. But look, I'm going to leave it at that. I am going to attach to this a video, which includes Ernst Rutz talking about the pandemic of farm attacks and murders that are now happening in South Africa. It's absolutely out of control. Absolutely out of control. Please pray for our farmers in South Africa, and also for our trucking people, because they're also now being targeted. Okay, guys, take care. Have a good evening. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell to get the updates, and see you soon.
Goeiemôre. Good morning, everyone who is here today. Annette Keneally was an incredible artist. She was a ward councillor, and she was a vocal activist against farm attacks. On 20 May 2019, She was brutally murdered on a small holding near Louis Trichardt in Limpopo. She, a 51-year-old lady, was strangled to death with an iron rod and beaten with a hammer. Stefan Smit, a well-known wine farmer from Stellenbosch, had received several death threats after having to deal with land invasions on his property. He had to go as far as to appoint a bodyguard to look after his safety. Smit, a 62-year-old man, was murdered at gunpoint on Sunday night. When interviewed by the media, a Stellenbosch land invader said that if a person must die, then so be it. Now, having said that, consider the following. Imagine if the state president had flown all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to the United States under the banner of telling the truth about what is happening in South Africa, and having arrived there addressing international audiences and the international media community, only to say to them the following words: there are no killings of farmers or white farmers in South Africa. There is no land grab in South Africa. Well, you don't have to imagine this because it happened. Yes, we live in a country in which some of the most influential politicians, including the former state president, publicly sing songs about killing farmers with hardly any consequences. We live in a country in which some of the most influential politicians actively encourage illegal land invasions with hardly any consequences. We live in a country in which some of the most influential politicians, including the current state president, publicly engage in negative stereotyping of farmers, but white farmers in particular. We live in a country in which we are told that singing songs about murdering farmers is just a metaphor and it's only meant to be taken figuratively, while farmers are literally being murdered. We live in a country in which commercial farmers employ bodyguards to look after their safety out of fear of being murdered. And on top of it all, we have a state president who is prepared to fly across the ocean to say to an international audience that the problem doesn't exist. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ernst Roots. I am Deputy CEO of AfriForum.